Imagine boarding a cruise ship, believing you're stepping into rest, laughter, and family memories. Bright decks, endless water, a floating city built to make you forget the world. Now imagine that same ship becoming the final place a 16-year-old girl would ever breathe. This is not a story about panic. It's not a story about chaos. It's a story about silence. Because sometimes the most terrifying thing in a criminal investigation isn't what we see. It's what we don't. This is the case of Anna Kepner. A case defined by missing minutes, unseen footage, sealed statements, and a body found where no body should ever be hidden. This is raw reality. No gloss, no sugarcoat. Just the truth as far as it can be followed. The Carnival Horizon is not a small vessel. It's massive, layered, monitored. Corridors, elevators, stairwells. Cameras on nearly every deck. Key cards logging nearly every door. A modern cruise ship is not a place where people simply disappear. And yet Anna did. She boarded this ship with her family, a teenager on what was supposed to be a normal vacation. Nothing in the public record suggests she was distressed. Nothing suggests she was trying to run. Nothing suggests she planned to vanish. Then at some point during the voyage, Anna stopped being seen. No dramatic disturbance. No public argument. No emergency call. Just a quiet absence. Hours later, that absence became something far worse. When Anna was found, she was not lying in the open. She was hidden. Her body was discovered under a bed inside a cabin. That detail alone changes everything. Bodies don't end up under beds by accident. Not in cruise cabins. Not without effort. Not without intent. Investigators would later confirm her cause of death as mechanical asphyxia. That term matters. Mechanical asphyxia means breathing was intentionally obstructed. Not illness. Not a fall. Not an unforeseeable medical event. Someone prevented her body from functioning. And then someone concealed her. At that moment, this was no longer a tragedy. It was a homicide investigation. Every criminal case has a timeline. And in this one, the timeline breaks. Investigators identified a 45 to 90-minute window where Anna's movements, and the movements of others, are unaccounted for. No confirmed sightings. No publicly released footage. No disclosed digital trail. Just a gap. In true crime investigations, missing time is oxygen for truth. Because that window is long enough for a confrontation, a struggle, a death, a cleanup, and concealment. 45 minutes is not nothing. 90 minutes is an eternity. And yet to this day, that window remains unexplained. Here where the case becomes unsettling. The Carnival Horizon is covered in surveillance cameras. Hallways, decks, common areas, cabin corridors. Movement is recorded. Patterns are traceable. But in Anna Kepner's case, no CCTV footage has been released to the public. Not a clip. Not a still image. Not even a time-stamped frame. That absence raises a question investigators never ignore. Was the footage irrelevant? Or was it too relevant? If cameras captured who entered or exited the cabin during the missing window, that footage would be decisive. If they showed someone packing, returning, or lingering, that footage would change everything. And yet silence. Court documents name Anna's stepbrother as the only official suspect. That designation is not casual. Law enforcement does not label suspects without reason. But here what makes this case unusual. No charges were filed. No arrest was made. Instead, the stepbrother was relocated from the family home during the investigation. That decision alone sparks questions. Was it for evidence protection? Was it for investigative integrity? Was it for safety? Or was it because authorities believed proximity mattered? The public has not been shown his movements during the missing window. No keycard data. No camera timeline. Only silence. Cruise ships rely on electronic access. Every cabin entry is logged. Every swipe leaves a timestamp. This means investigators can reconstruct who entered a cabin, when they entered, and how often. In Anna's case, those logs exist. But none have been released. Which raises a critical question. Do those logs contradict the narrative we've been given? Because one unexpected swipe, one return entry can unravel an entire case. Cabins don't exist in isolation. Walls are thin. Hallways echo. Footsteps travel. Adjacent cabin witnesses reportedly made statements. Those statements remain sealed. Why? Witness accounts can confirm. Sounds of movement. Doors opening or closing. Raised voices. Unusual packing. If someone heard something during the missing window, that detail could narrow the timeline to minutes. Yet again, the public is left without answers. Investigators always return to the body. Not emotionally. Methodically. Why hide her? If this had been an accident, concealment would make no sense. Hiding a body delays discovery. It buys time. It suggests awareness. Someone knew what had happened and wanted it unseen. That single decision shifts the case from what went wrong to who decided. Mechanical asphyxia tells us how Anna died. But not who was present. DNA evidence. Fingerprints. Trace materials. Those details remain undisclosed. Was there evidence of a struggle? Were objects displaced? Were there signs of another presence? Forensic silence doesn't mean forensic absence. It means information is being held. Every investigation eventually comes down to people. Who had access? Who had opportunity? Who had time? The missing window matters because it intersects with human behavior. Where was everyone during those minutes? What didn't line up? What detail didn't sit right enough to name a suspect, but not enough to prosecute? Those questions remain unanswered. This case isn't disturbing because of gore. It's disturbing because of control. A controlled environment. A controlled timeline. A controlled release of information. A teenager didn't vanish into chaos. She vanished into silence. And silence is where unanswered questions live. The questions remains. Why hasn't footage been released? Why are keycard logs sealed? Why are witness statements hidden? Why name a suspect without charges? And most importantly, what happened during those missing minutes? Because somewhere in that window, the truth exists. Anna Kepner boarded a ship alive. She didn't leave it. And until the missing minutes are explained, this case remains unresolved, not just legally but morally. Because justice doesn't end at rulings. It ends at answers. Like, share, comment and subscribe to my channel. No gloss, no sugarcoat. Just raw reality.